what do you feel are the main issues facing Gloucester?
There are so many. Where do we start? Let's take the most obvious one, the word regeneration, which means a reinvention of life, an improvement of life for everybody, whether children, adults, pensioners, people in care. We can see what's been happening in the docks. A lot of good things, one or two contentious things, but overall everyone would agree things look better there than they did 5 and 10 years ago. But there are lots of other places in the city where there remains a huge amount of work to be done. The railway triangle, 20 hectares of wasteland at the entrance to the city, is worse than it was 13 years ago when the government came into power. So that's something that has to be tackled. And it's an opportunity because it's a big amount of brownfield land that we could use creatively, both for people to live in and people to play in, which in turn would generate more life, more people living in the heart of our city. And it's the same with the old Gloucester building. It's the same with a number of buildings dotted all around the centre of our city. And then you go into each ward, and as you walk around every ward, every street of the city, you will always find messy houses, parts that are abandoned with tracts of wilderness. There are all sorts of opportunities, factories that have been abandoned. There are all sorts of opportunities for regenerating and improving life for residents all around the city. And I believe that with the right political leadership, each of these could be tackled in turn. They'll need different solutions. Some of them need talking to the owners of those sites who might be city institutions. Some of them need talking to owners who are non-resident landlords. Some of them need talking to the tenants. But all of them need improvement, and that's what we should really be tackling straight off. So that's the big picture of regeneration. Then you can get into how does Gloucester identify itself? What are we most proud of? What do we want to make the world more aware of? Our history, probably. Our great quality rugby. Those are things which we know about, but the world doesn't always know about our history enough, apart from the cathedral. So we can, for example, be creative there. We could have a day that celebrates the lifting of the Gloucester siege in the Civil War. We could show people in Brunswick Square, the garden where Prince Rupert's artillery was based, and have the sealed knot, give a demonstration from there. We can show people Matson House up in Matson Lane, where the 2 young princes carved their names on the windows. And we can use the Civic Trust and their guides to show people around the parts of the city that Colonel Massey used in his defence. That should be one of our proudest days. That's the great painting that's in the Houses of Parliament, Colonel Massey and the defence of Gloucester. So we can do more with our history. Am I allowed to go on, or have I wildly overshot?
I hate soundbite politics.
Okay, so that's one thing. Then there's the whole sports venue thing. I mean, clearly the rugby is our jewel. But the football is unsatisfactory because we need an answer from an Environment Agency on bringing it back to Meadow Park. When we get that answer, and the owner is reasonably optimistic that he'll get a positive answer, then the councils come into play in allowing for planning for the traffic and parking and the size of the operation there, whether some of the sheds can be turned into businesses which will help the rental in turn to help the football. The whole scheme of things that can be done to get football going in Gloucester again. The cricket, I've done something on already. We're going to have the County Cricket Club back this time to do the 2020s. The first time they played 2020s outside Bristol. I think this will be wildly popular. I think we'll start by getting 5,000 people in, but people who go and watch the rugby would come and watch 2020 cricket. We could easily, in 2 or 3 years' time, see crowds of 10,000 perhaps watching really good first-class 2020 cricket on a Friday evening and a Sunday afternoon. Could be very successful. Then there's athletics, and there's a real chance there for a new athletics track, probably at the back of where Bishop's College is, close to the tennis courts at Plock Court. And that is a real opportunity, but we'll have to find a financial backer. It will need sponsorship. The public sector won't have the money for it. The athletics clubs won't. So we're going to have to find a big sponsor. I've got someone in mind, and this is something that after the elections I'm going to start working on again.